So what we got for us today is this flex head tube ratcheting combination wrench set, and it is by a company called Anbull. I'll let you guys see them there. Here's all the information on it. It is a metric 12-piece set. I believe they only make the metric set. I didn't see an SAE set when I was looking. Not to say that it's not possible, but currently I don't think that's offered. Now, sizing you see here, we'll go through them all inside as well, but 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 8 through 19, no skips, which I think a lot of us can appreciate. Now, the case that it comes in is a blow molded case with some plastic clasps. Nothing special. It is a little extra blow moldy. Not too thick though. I mean, it'd be easy enough to store and carry as is. But when you hop inside here, well, before we hop inside here, go ahead. If you haven't already done already, please like and subscribe. All right, so they've actually done a pretty decent job. For being a Chinese-made tool set, they took the time to give you a little bit of extra padding inside here, some foam padding. And then you also have this foam tray that's on the bottom, which is also removable. And it's a 2-color set of some medium density foam. So you can take that, place it inside your toolbox, or leave it inside here as it is. And it's pretty decent. The numbers are actually just painted on, so with time that might actually start to go away for you. Actually, I'm pretty sure it will. I do prefer when they actually recess it into the foam, but in this case, it's just painted on. So it is what it is. Now, as far as how they look and work, you can see here, 19 millimeter. It does show the direction of operation as you currently have it facing. It shows 19 millimeter on both sides. The stamping is good. I do prefer that it's stamping versus etched. And you can see that it's chrome vanadium steel. It's just your regular open jaw on the end. Sizing is actually pretty standard, nothing overly grotesque. It's pretty decent size. And it got a little bit of grease all over. And this is typical of Chinese tools being shipped. Look at some grease on them. Now I do appreciate on this end, it is pretty narrow. It's pretty thin. Whereas on this end, it does thicken up, and on this end, it does thicken up too. So access is going to be paramount when using these. So as we get into it, some of you guys will be asking, well, okay, well, I have a flex head ratcheting in wrench. What's the difference? Here's just a quick comparison. I have a flex head. What's the difference? This works great. Why do I want to have anything different? Small profile, does the job well, compact, easy to use. Why would I want to come over here and run something that much larger? Right, everything else for it, size-wise, is about dead on, but this head gets quite big. And the purpose for that, guys, is when you're working on hydraulics, or any sort of line that's under pressure, that's a hard line that you can't get around. You want something that can get in there easily. And a perfect example of that is, and for most guys out there, is going to be brake lines. So as you get in there and you try to remove a brake line like this nut that's on here is compressed inside there, and there's rust that develops. I mean, because this is in your wheel well, guys. This is where water, moisture, everything gets inside there and just makes a mess. And it doesn't want to rotate it from the top, and it doesn't want to rotate from the bottom because it's just so tightly compressed inside there. And a lot of guys will end up destroying these fittings, which then, depending on if they're even available, ends up just being a fiasco. So if you can, you want to get these removed without destroying them. Some other examples are going to be fuel lines. You're going to have high pressure lines. That includes hydraulics. So if you have any hydraulics that you're working with, that's when these tools can actually become advantageous. So we're going to take a look, see if this actually works as good as intended for this type of setup. And, well, if it is, then is it worth your money? And we'll go over price here as well. So let's do that here next. All right, so sizing-wise, I'm going to need a 10 millimeter for this. And the key is get it on there and be able to start ratcheting. Now, you do open end, box end, and that works fine after you get it broke loose. But you try to break loose with this, odds are you're going to end up destroying and rounding off. In this case, it's a 10 mil. It's just not strong enough to take that beating. And odds are you're going to open this jaw just enough to start rounding off all those corners. Believe me, guys, I've done this multiple times. Okay, so And so for you guys are like, okay, the box end, use the box end. Well, here you go, guys. You can't get a box end on there. It's got something coming through it. You can't get a box end. You're only going to be able to use an open end, or if you can't use the box end, you're going to find yourself, right, one of these flare nut tools, like so. And what it does is it reaches around. It attempts to grab all but one corner as you're trying to tighten and loosen these fittings. And these work great, but you only get one small movement, reset, one small movement, reset, and you will take forever, especially if this is not cooperating. So that being said, someone, I want to say this has only been a couple years now, decided to start coming out with this type of set where it actually has an open end on the end. So what we'll do, let's make sure we're going the right way. Wrong way. Let's spin it all the way back around. Okay, once it's on there, perfect. We've got it on there, and it does the exact same thing. It's grabbing around the corners on all but one. Okay, so we got this held inside here. Let's go ahead, let's see if we give it a little tug and twist and see if this will actually loosen for us. Perfect. Now for me, the key is you're going to want to come back and get it right back in line with the removal spot. There you go. Now it's perfectly back in line. I can lift it up and take it off. And check that out, guys. No damage to the fastener. That's exactly what you want. Now let's say you screw up and you get yourself in a tight spot. I'll go ahead and move this out of the way. Let's say you screw up and you get caught in this angle and you can no longer, for whatever reason, let's say you can't move it anymore. You're stuck. You can't get this off. You're done. Well, that's where the next kind of genius idea happens with this. You go ahead and grab some circlip pliers and you put them inside the holes like so. Squeeze to expand and then pull off. And then you just drop this right out through the bottom. That works for either side. Both sides will remove from this ratcheting headpiece. And you see here, well, there's all the guts. They're all inside there. And they do not fall out. So there's a double pawl design, as you can see there. Plenty of teeth, plenty of engagement. Teeth-wise, it is 72 tooth. So plenty of teeth in there. It gives it a 5-degree arc swing. And we'll slide this back in. I think it goes one way. Yeah, it's one direction. Slide it back inside there. After you're done, take your clip. And it only goes one direction too. It's got this little centering ring or centering point on the back. And then put it back together like so. And there you go. It's all back together. And so I think that's pretty neat that they figured that out, that there's a way to, I mean, the ratcheting end is just a little bit notchy. It'll get a little caught every once in a while. Maybe it needs to just get broken a little bit. But, I mean, for Chinese made, this is actually pretty nice for Chinese made. I put it on the upper end for sure. But it's a pretty trick idea in that you could still, on those really pesky ones, if you know you're going to break it loose or ruin it, and you don't want to have to use a flare nut tool like this to take something off, you go ahead and use these. And odds are you'll be able to, once you get it loose, you'll be able to get it back to where you need it to be. It's if you're tightening it, you probably might get fully tightened and be like, oh, I can't go any further. Can I come back and line up? And that'd be the question of whether or not you can swing it back far enough to line up. But if you have enough space, you could still just slide up on your fitting. And I'll show you guys here. Let's say you're on here and you get yourself in a bind. So you're ratcheting, and let's say you can't go any further, you're stuck. Well, luckily here with this hard line, I have enough room to let it slide back up. And then I could use these little jimping, essentially, that's on the top here, to rotate back around to where I can remove the wrench, and you're fine. So odds are you won't have to use that often to remove the actual collar or circlip fitting that's on the end. You'll be able to take care of it all on your own. So yeah, pretty good setup. I think they're pretty decent pricing wise. And again, this you could carry in your toolbox, you know, with just the foam padding, or just put it inside this blow molded case. Either one of those will work just fine. But I think they nailed it. It's a good setup. Now, pricing isn't cheap. I feel like these were cheap early on. I think the first versions were pretty cheap. They do also make selector switch ones, which are a little bit smaller. I do like those as well. I haven't had a chance to use one yet. But the selector switch or this would probably be my first choice in the route that I'd like to go with a setup like this. Now, pricing, you can find them over on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description for you guys below. But pricing it's going to be up there a little bit. It's going to be about $150, $160 for this set currently. Not to say they don't go on sale from time to time. But if you're looking for something that does a unique job, these are pretty niche, and they're going to do a pretty good job for you, I think. So, anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you have a solution similar to this? Have you guys tried these out or any sort of rendition of these? I'd really love to hear long-term what your thoughts are. I've only had a chance to use these a couple times, but so far I've liked what I've seen. And, yeah, I think I'd recommend them to you guys. If you have that extra coin sitting around and you do utilize this type of tool often, you know, it'd be worth your time. So, anyways, guys, please leave your comments down below, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.